27th birthday, May 14th, 1993. True Bull was born. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the 3rd episode of TaeTalkTV. I'm your host, Chanté Presley, and here with me I have my distinguished panel. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And before I introduce them, I do want to just say, subscribe to TaeTalkTV, like, comment, share. And we'll start with my friend Daiisy.
Hi guys, I'm Daiisy.
She's a poet, an actress, a natural beauty. And of course with me, I have my best friend of 10 years plus, Jordy. It's only right.
What's poppin', y'all?
And then last but not least, I have Dauré.
Hi guys. I write
What do you do?
and I say controversial things.
So, I mean, it's only right. It's only right. But we have a great show lined up for you guys. I'm so excited. And I just want to ask you guys, how have y'all been holding up during quarantine?
I have actually been enjoying this time. It's like a good solitude. You know, I'm in the house writing, just chilled inside the house. I ain't gotta go outside and deal with nobody.
I agree.
Chilling.
I agree. I feel like it feels like less pressure. So it's just like you feel like you're writing, and I feel like it can be pure. It can be like the best form of you because you don't feel pressure. There's no deadlines. There's no timeline. It's just like, you know.
You don't feel like you should be working.
Yeah, I mean, you know, everyone's at a standstill, so I don't know.
I think there's a lot of growth going on. It's like, who am I? What do I want to do? You know? Like, why are we here? Because you ain't working. You ain't doing nothing. Like the guy from Everest College. You ain't doing nothing.
You sit on the couch watching TV.
You ain't doing nothing. What's going on? You know, think about your life.
Man,
It's quarantine. What are you doing?
do you know I was in high school when that came out, and that made me feel like the biggest piece of shit ever? I'm like, I haven't even attempted to be an adult in this world, and I already feel like I failed.
He was good at it. He was good at it. Hey man, shut up.
Where is he today? I wonder.
That is a good question.
He's probably in quarantine.
He probably got his
unemployment like everybody
plus
else.
$1,000 buyout. It's been over since then.
Yeah.
It's been over since then. He got paid for that.
It was a one-time buyout. You know, people thought he was getting paid every time that commercial aired.
Yeah.
No.
That sucks because it played so many times.
It did.
You should be rich.
It definitely
I
did.
hope he got paid, but he probably collected unemployment like everybody else.
Good for him, though. Good for him. But I do want to ask you guys, what have you learned about yourself? Do you feel like you've learned anything about yourself? Have you been able to self-reflect during this time?
I've been more disciplined. Like, I feel like I've learned that I have more discipline than I felt like I had before. Like, when I was so busy, I felt like I couldn't find the time to, like, discipline myself to not do or do the things that I feel like I need to do or don't do.
Okay.
But now that we're on quarantine,
You
I
got
kind
all
of been
the time.
forced. Yeah, it's like I need to, okay, now I'm like, okay, sitting at home, it's been 12 hours, what do I do now? Like,
Right.
read?
I feel like it pulls the real you out of you. This time, it pulls like who you really are.
Because you are who you really are when no one's watching. So I guess
Right.
since you are just inside of your home where you're just your truest self, you
Yeah.
have no.
I feel like it's been clearing the fog for me. It's like I feel like I've been streamlined and focused on. All right, I know what I want to do, and I know who I want to be, and I know what things I need to stop doing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because some things you just need to grow out of that don't serve you, right? So I feel like I'm getting clear on what
Clear.
All
my
those things you need to grow out of.
Hashtag
I can agree with
Yeah.
that.
Okay. I mean, I think those are all great responses. I know I've been watching a lot of Netflix. I don't know about y'all.
Haven't we all?
So many Netflix.
Somebody tweeted, they was like, I finished Netflix today. And I felt that.
Everything.
Like, I mean, what else can I watch? But honestly, when I talk to some people, I feel like I haven't watched anything at all because people be having Amazon Prime.
What's one thing on Netflix?
And
Wait, what's one thing on Netflix that you?
I did tune into Dave though on Hulu. I actually got Hulu during this time too. Before I never had Hulu,
That's what I'm about to say. I started watching.
Nobody.
right, like I actually got bored with Netflix, so I was like, okay, so on the Hulu, and I watched Dave, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Lil Dicky. He is a Jewish rapper, and he's actually really, really, really good. He's really talented, a skilled lyricist, but I would say maybe his content is more like, some people would say parodies or satire. I I don't think they would really put him in the conversation with maybe like
J. Cole.
A J. Cole or Drake. Although he's honestly very talented.
He's
but you know,
his flow,
because
overall is pretty good.
Exactly. So when I first heard about his show, I didn't really know what to think of it. I didn't think it would be something I would watch or enjoy because I'm like, I don't see like what plot are you gonna give me that I can follow, that I care about, or that I feel like relates to me. But when I watched it, it honestly was pretty good. Did you guys?
It was very funny.
Okay.
Just off the top, I just thought it was like, I like satirical stuff because one of my favorite shows is The Office.
Okay.
So I kind of like stuff that's kind of like, it can go, stuff that can go over your head if you're not paying attention, right? And some of the things he says is very under the radar, you know. You got to pay attention to what he's saying. And it's a very real, authentic show. Like, he gets authentic, his other friends get authentic and real. It's not something like...
Yeah.
Well, he's like a white guy trying to mix into the hip hop industry.
Exactly. You know? And I feel like that's
it could get awkward, but it's funny. Like it's very comical, I'll say.
Okay.
How they do it.
Yeah.
I agree. I just think it's funny. I think the positions they choose to use, like as far as like mental health, not necessarily racism, but like black versus white dynamics and stuff like that, and how he's kind of, as Dave, he's oblivious to like black culture in a sense, although he is trying to delve into rapping. But I like how they do it in a respectful way. It's authentic. It's not like he's forcing like his.
6ix9ine, where he's
that's what I appreciate.
He's like he makes sure he brings
genuine.
himself. Like he's not trying to like appropriate the our culture. Like you know, he's just being himself.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna assume that you were all familiar with Lil Dicky before you start watching the show, Dave.
I was. Yeah.
Okay, same.
I wasn't.
Okay. Wow.
I wasn't.
Okay. So, what did you think as someone who was unfamiliar with any of his YouTube videos, which is what made him so famous?
I haven't watched any of his YouTube videos. I've only watched Dave, and I just think it's funny.
Wow.
So I don't know much about him besides Dave.
Yeah.
Actually, he does have a song with Chris Brown, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's how.
And I'd say that's one of his more mainstream songs because his other videos.
Least favorite, honestly, of his.
He has better videos. I feel like his creative ways, it like really shows when he's doing it himself, when he's solo. I feel like with that, it was more of like a collaboration to kind of put him more in the mainstream. I don't know. So I wouldn't really, if I was like trying to introduce you to Lil Dicky, that's not something I would show you. Not a Freaky Friday. I would show you more
Freaky
like
Friday, that's what it's called.
Yeah, Freaky Friday. But I was curious to see like what someone who like wasn't familiar with his catalog, what they would think of a show like that. Because I'm like, do I like it because I know him and I'm just rooting for him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do I like it because I like him, or is it like really a good show?
I knew who Lil Dicky was, but I really wasn't familiar with him. And just to see the show, it has a lot of moments where there are, for instance, a situation with his girlfriend, and he's ashamed of his situation so much so that he has to go into the restroom to do his thing with this thing. You know what I'm talking about?
That part was crazy.
He's not afraid to go there. I'm saying this show crosses boundaries.
He's so ashamed to get intimate that he has to go and finish off with.
And then the foot came out the shower.
His girlfriend was so like supportive.
Yeah,
like
she
was trying to get him to like open up.
Right.
And that's what I appreciate about her in that show. The fact that she was like trying. She wasn't like shaming him for anything. Like she was just like saying I love you.
Trying to understand.
Whatever. Trying to understand exactly.
Do you feel like you'd be that way in a situation?
I'm definitely that way. So I was like, okay, sis, I see you.
I honestly feel like a lot of women would be supportive. I don't think men see it that way though. I don't think they feel like they can be that open with us. So they don't know how supportive we actually would be if they gave us the opportunity.
I think you gotta be upfront with somebody and say, hey, I got 2 spigots out my
Yeah. He said I've been controlling the light to make sure that she can't see. Like that's a lot of effort to go through.
But
That's
she
caring.
said
That's
she was
love.
like, I've seen it before though.
Just the shame.
So she thought.
Oh, yeah, so
You got, like
I
he felt so much shame just to hide that from her for so long. Like
to the point
That's
where he
crazy.
had to, like, after they had sex, he had to go. He lied about coming actually, and then went in the restroom and
That's how I
tried to come with the.
I thought her reaction was gonna be
Jello.
completely different. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
She was a pretty understanding woman. I would say I don't know too many women who would be as understanding as her throughout some of the situations.
Especially the way it happened. It's
Yeah.
just like, whoa.
Like anybody else would have walked out and said no.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's
I
why.
agree.
That's what I appreciate about her, though. In general, how she was just so appreciative. Well, not appreciative, but like she was so understanding.
Yeah, understanding.
She was so understanding of her boyfriend. She was
Yeah.
trying to get him in the beginning
She
before
wasn't judging
that
him or
scene
nothing.
happened.
Yeah.
She was trying to get him to open up,
Yo, she was like, eat my ass.
trying to make him comfortable because of the song.
She's like, eat my. And then oh my god, the end of that movie, the end of that episode was so funny. It's like,
Hilarious.
I did want to say I like a lot of the characters. I really, especially like Gator or Gata.
Lil Gator.
Look, I mean that's me.
What was the manager's
Look, I'm
name?
sorry, y'all. Don't take my
What was the
like
manager's
Gator.
name? I did not like the way he said Gata.
He said
Who?
so
The
like,
redhead.
Oh
He
yeah.
said it so like.
I mean,
Gata.
but that's his natural
That's how he's
vernacular. Like, that he
pronounced Gata.
exactly. I especially like him, and that's what I do appreciate about the show. I feel like he's a Jewish rapper, right? Trying to fit into a hip hop world, but yet he does it without disrespecting hip hop culture. And in fact, I feel like he really is like praising black people and hip hop culture and really like emphasizing the fact that he does have to fit into this world because he loves rap. He genuinely loves rap and he loves and appreciates the culture that started rap.
right.
I like that. I feel like that's not cultural appropriation, that's appreciation. You know, that's what I want to see. So I appreciate him for that and giving black people opportunities. Like Gata,
Right.
who literally said this was his first time ever acting. This was his first acting
He's
role.
so
Great
good
job,
at
bro.
it. He's
I
so
didn't know
good.
that.
And
I didn't know
to
that
share
either. So
and to
good.
play someone who is bipolar, who like is sharing his real testimony. He said that's his real, like giving opportunity for people like Gata, who deserve it because he's a phenomenal actor. Like he's really
He
talented.
did a good job.
But he wouldn't get it. You know, like people like that don't always get an opportunity.
Yeah,
So
it's so good to see that relationship develop over the episodes, and
Yeah.
they have that real moment in what is it, episode 6 or something like that.
Yeah. And it's like
He
understanding
cried.
between them instead of it being like, I feel like a lot of times when it comes to a white and a black friend, it's always that like white friend trying to overcompensate or the black friend trying to overcompensate versus it being like, I'm just trying to see you as a person and you seeing me as a person. I feel like in Dave, they kind of shed light on just like, you're different, I'm different, not you're white, I'm black.
I like that.
I like that.
Gata was like, we all weird as fuck. We're all
He was
balls.
saying that in
We're-
his monologue. He was saying how different they were. And
Yeah, true. He was
Right.
like,
And
this nigga, he make raps about it.
Yeah, he just he wear weird clothes or whatever he was saying.
That was
He just,
awesome.
like,
he did great. You did great, bro.
felt
Like,
that.
I'm
Thank
saying-
you,
You
Gata,
did
for that.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Also, I appreciate it because it's opening up dialogue or like it's opening up that for the black community because I feel like we don't acknowledge mental illness.
And it's
Yeah.
so
And
We
black
brush it to the
families.
side a lot.
It's not taken seriously. I feel like people kind of attribute it to you like being
Oh, he just crazy.
crazy or like
Yeah.
dismissing it, like not taking it seriously as they should, not
Like-
seeking help, not getting therapy, not taking medication.
taking medicine.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, to have a mental illness is to have a chemical imbalance. So like you need to
Address
Balance
it.
address
that
it
out.
professionally.
Talk about it.
Professionally. I'm saying, I'm sorry, like weed is not the answer. For like, and I'm glad they
mental
talk
health issues.
for mental
weed
health
is
issues.
not the
Drugs, substance abuse is not the answer. It's never going to fix the problem. Like you really need to address that. So I feel like I'm just really happy that Lil Dicky wrote that in his script because he said this was the first script he ever wrote.
And the way he wrote it, I feel like is
It was
very
great.
Yeah,
You got to
it's
see.
so natural.
You got to
so
learn
he
about
wrote-
Gator and
I'm
his
sorry,
like
did he
challenges.
write the whole thing?
I'm sure.
I'm sure he had help.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm
He had
sure.
help, he had to think.
But
Like,
he,
Kevin
he
Hart is also a
contributed.
producer of it. I noticed that
That's
in the beginning.
great.
So
I
I
didn't
mean,
know
I'm
that.
sure
That's
that
really
plays some
great.
part in it. But
So,
great.
So I
you
feel
know?
like it's
Great.
bridging the gap almost. Would you guys like agree that it's kind
I
of
could
bridging the
say
gap
that.
between like
It's
black people and
helping
maybe
for sure.
I feel like it's showing authentic relationships. I don't know. It's showing black people in an authentic way.
On Google that the Jewish people were an ally to the black people during the civil rights movement back in the 60s. I don't know if that's right. But back in the day, the Jewish people actually had some type of, ally with the black people. They were basically fighting the same fight, which makes sense because of the Holocaust and etc. So they were like, nah, this ain't right. So, fun fact.
Right. Which I really appreciate. You know, I feel like now more than ever, I mean, pretty much always, allies have been important. You know, it takes more than just black people fighting for our human rights. You know what I mean?
I agree. 100%.
Yeah. But any other thoughts on Dave? Like,
well, I just want to say in that episode of Gator's episode, basically, you get to see how his problem is sort of thrown to the wayside or ignored in the black situations. Like when he met his boy at the game store, it's like everybody said you went crazy. And he couldn't even talk about how he's bipolar to somebody he know.
Yeah.
He has to say like, oh yeah, you know, niggas always lying on me. Yeah, you gotta keep it real, keep it whatever.
That's a good point.
You can't talk about it. You just gotta keep. You just gotta keep flexing like ain't nothing wrong.
Because that happens often in the black communities. They just act like it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he crazy. That's really what I feel like. That's what.
And when him
and I think no one questions that. Everyone's just like, oh, you know,
that's just him.
Yeah, but it's just like, why? You know, are we
get to the root of it?
Right.
We gotta be more vulnerable in those situations. We just try to be so hard and so.
And that speaks to even deeper issue.
But we can keep going on.
So genuine because he said, I don't tell nobody. I don't share this situation with nobody. So, and then when he was crying, like it really got to me. I was like, I appreciate that scene for real.
No, for sure.
I do too, and I hope people who do like suffer from, being bipolar or even schizophrenic, I hope they see a character like Gata and realize like this isn't defeating me. Like this doesn't have to be it for me. I can actually live with this. I can cope. I can, live with this disorder. But you have to want help, and you have to. I don't know.
You gotta know you got a problem and seek help. It's okay. It's okay to have a problem and seek help.
Yes.
Getting help shouldn't be like there shouldn't be a stigma surrounding that.
Right. And we shouldn't judge other people for it.
Like you're like helping yourself.
Yeah. I respect Gata more because he did say that. Like because he was like, I'm bipolar. He explained it instead of just like everyone just like, what the heck?
Like this nigga's crazy.
Right.
Like, no. It's a real issue.
It's like, sorry y'all.
Yeah. Well, so unfortunately, I do want to talk about the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. At first, I didn't really want to talk about it or engage with it. I saw the videos. I didn't want to click on them. I didn't want to deal with the reality that a black man can be murdered in America with no just cause, and they can get away with it. I don't even really know where to start with this topic because it's really just annoying that we have to keep talking about this. I'm so tired of hashtags. I'm so tired of protests. I'm so tired of having to say my life matters. I feel like that should just be evident, but for whatever reason in America it's not. And so I wanted to talk about that briefly.
In response to that, I want to share like my personal experience. Even today, like I just so happen to find myself in like a not so urban, I guess you would say, neighborhood. And to be honest, I feel kind of uncomfortable because it's like I don't know what person is going to mistake me for some thug and just be like, oh, it's this black guy in this neighborhood. There's usually not black guys in my neighborhood, so therefore maybe he's doing something up to no good or whatever the case may be. And I was like, can we at least get to where we were, at least to the bottom of the hill where I feel like it's more people, because if something does happen, at least there's more people to witness it, etc., etc. But it's like, just as an American in general, I shouldn't have to feel that way, period. I shouldn't have to walk around and feel like, am I in the wrong neighborhood?
Be in fear, like,
at all. Like, it don't read.
It doesn't at all. It's weird because I feel like
we ain't do nothing. We haven't done nothing from jump. So like, what is it? Why are y'all so mad?
As the details unfold, it's like they're trying to push a narrative. Obviously, at first, it was like we jog with Ahmaud, we run with Ahmaud. They were saying that it was a jogger who was running through a neighborhood and was shot. And then as details unfolded, you found out that he was at this construction site, and apparently he was seen entering the construction site, and a few minutes later exiting that construction site. And at that point, two white men saw him. I think even before he exited, had already called the authorities and said, we suspect that this person is robbing, this place. And so he takes off running. At least this is what I'm getting from the videos. I don't want to go off of anything that I read or saw. This is just what I've seen in the videos. I only want to speak from that because I feel like that's the only unbiased evidence. Everything else I'm seeing is pandering to a certain audience. It's either I run with Ahmaud, or he was doing something he wasn't supposed to, and so they're justifying the murder. And so I don't know. It's like, regardless of the fact he shouldn't have been killed, even if he was robbing this said construction site, he shouldn't have been killed.
Whatever he's robbing on a Sunday morning run. Granted, it might have not been Sunday, but
yeah. Bottom line,
what is he doing?
Bottom line is he was killed unjustly. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. And they should be in jail. And the fact that it took this long to get him in jail is ridiculous. But they're trying to say, oh, they had a reason. So what if they had a reason? They killed somebody.
They don't. But it's like,
put them in jail.
As a citizen, even as an
reason
officer, it's like you. At least you have some sort of authority to make a decision. But as a citizen, I feel like there's no reason you should be shooting somebody because you feel like.
In the tape, and there's talk about, there is evidence that they were cutting him off. He couldn't run away. So
this is the real star of the show.
Say hi to Nala, y'all. No ho Nala. What's good? What's popping?
So the whole thing. I'll just say it. I'm a part of the black conservative demographic. Yeah, that's a good word. And I've noticed a tear within it because of this. Because there's some people on the side of saying, is it about race? There are other people saying it was just unjust. So there are a lot of people torn in the black conservative thing about it. And, recently I've been all I don't even care about politics at the moment, but I've just been listening to what they're saying, and a lot of them just like to argue about nonsense. The bottom line is that somebody was killed for no reason, because even if he was in a construction site, you gotta check me first. You gotta see if I can stole anything. Arrest me at least. Do something. You're not just gonna shoot me in the gut. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I haven't even tuned into the whole situation of Ahmaud because it's just sad, and so I just not pay attention to it. Run for Ahmaud, I didn't contribute into the running. Did you guys?
No. I didn't either.
No.
I agree with you though, because I have a position on it, but at the end of the day, when people, honestly, every person that posted on Twitter, I mute them. Every person that does it on Instagram, I mute them, because honestly, my thing is I'm not about to sit here and repost this or perpetuate this negative narrative, especially because as sad as it sounds, but I'm not about to do nothing. I'm about to scroll past it, and I'm going to be sad, and I'm going to keep on scrolling. Right. So I feel 9 times out of 10, that's what most people are doing.
That's
so why even put that out there? Yeah, it's why even put that out there for me to be sad?
It's they promote this.
Because you're not going to do nothing either. Virtue signaling. You brought it up before.
Yeah.
And that's basically all it is.
People are oh, this is so sad. Oh, I'm
do
so
something
torn.
about it. But no,
you
do something about it.
What are you going to do about it? It's been happening for so long.
I'm saying let's do something about it.
Because the bottom line is it's going to keep happening
I ain't gonna
regardless
post
of
about it
what you
unless I'm
do.
gonna do something about it.
It's like
Exactly.
you need to focus on what
And
you
a
can
run
do.
is
And
not
how
even
can we
enough.
change it?
Yeah.
People running like
I feel
It's
like
cute.
that. I don't
It's
like
cute.
that approach. I don't like that approach necessarily.
I liked it because I feel like let's
that's
run
trying
through
to
their
pitch or
neighborhood.
market or like. I feel like no.
I didn't like it because
And like-
it's like if it kind of going deeper into it, like if you want to run, like run for yourself. Like
Right.
don't just say run for a mile. Like everyone is doing all this, but like it's deeper than that. Like I don't know, it's deeper than all this is because it's been going on for so long.
As a black person, how do you feel like how does it make you feel? Knowing or like
Or as a person
seeing
in
that
general.
like this happened in February. We're just now hearing about it.
Right.
We're just now hearing about it. They were literally like this came about. They were the charges are being pressed literally because the media.
Is it because the guys
presented it
didn't?
and
Is
social
it because
media,
the guys
like,
didn't
really-
go to jail? Is that why?
That's the
Yeah,
reason.
that's exactly what it is, and it makes me wonder what happened then. Like what happened
hold on.
at the scene
Exactly.
of the crime.
Wait, let me ask this. What if they would have went to jail for murder on top, just off gate? What would we be saying then? It's
They
still a-
deserve that.
Wait,
Yeah, probably
but
nothing.
it's still a black man
It would be a
dead for no
story,
reason.
Okay, can someone tell me?
But at least there
I'm
was
sorry.
justice behind it.
You guys
know?
want to
At
just
least.
briefly
So that's all
break
we care
down
about
the
is
story
justice?
of what happened? Because I don't know.
Okay. From like I said, I really just want to go based off of the videos that I've seen. I don't want to go off of anything that I've read, just because I feel like with any news media outlet, there's some type of a bias from the videos. I saw one video with him just running, but of course, moments before that video of him running, that you could see him entering a house. And then you see him exiting the house like minutes later. And then there was another video from inside of the house where you see him inside the house, but he's kind of just looking around. He didn't take anything. He's just looking around.
They had a drone on this man?
I don't like. I mean, I don't. They're building the house,
They're-
like so they have
Oh,
cameras
What
inside the
they're
house.
doing is they're piecing all the camera footage
So
together.
and so
It's not even. Is it even like right after the other one?
my thing though is it's not uncommon for people to walk into a construction site. That's not uncommon. It's not like.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, it's not. Now, why do I like? It's probably trespassing. It's probably illegal. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm saying you shouldn't die for it.
Not at
Yeah,
all.
you shouldn't die.
Like that's even if he was cased in the place to rob it later, whatever the case may be. In that moment, that man didn't do anything that, justified him dying.
Question. So who shot them? Who shot him?
So okay, and this is where I don't want you to misquote me, because I believe it was a man and his son.
Yeah.
But they may have been brothers, but I want to say it was a man and his son, white man,
So
who
they weren't police
lived in the
men.
neighborhood. I think they saw what was happening
No
from
type of authority.
Yeah, no type of
At all.
authority. They like what they're running with is a citizen's arrest. They were attempting to make a citizen's arrest. That does not give you
And
authority
what happened in the
to.
video? They got into a tussle because what happened was
Because you're trying to kill him.
He was running, but they kept cutting him off. He was trying to, like me, I would have run into the woods, but he was
With
running.
the car?
No, when I was running, I would have run into the woods. They can't run into.
No, they were in the car.
They went.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay,
I would say if I was a mod, I would have.
right, okay.
But he was trying to run down the street, and then it was a point where he couldn't run anymore. So he had to confront him. Then they started tussling. Then you see the video, and it's kind of like.
Do I want to watch the rest of this?
It's like it's really quick, and it's like kind of disturbing. But
Very.
he's trying to defend himself from a man with a gun. So.
Because I feel like that's
Yeah.
any human's natural response to a gun
Right,
being
a man with a
like
gun.
I don't know that you're gonna kill me or not, and more than likely you are going to kill me. I feel like my natural response is going to be to try to defend myself or prevent this from happening, which means getting this gun out of your hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And yeah, he didn't win. So, but the bottom line is they should be in jail, which they are now. But
Do we know why?
Your business.
Do we know why
Like,
he's in
mind
jail
your
now?
fucking
All of a
business.
well,
sudden.
because the video came out and they saw like, oh, okay,
It's
they
because of
should be in
social
jail.
media. It's
Yeah.
because we made a frenzy about it, not because of what actually happened, which is where I'm perplexed at, because it's just like I feel like that. Why weren't they in jail before? Why did it take for like?
So that makes you wonder how much may actually occur without
we
you
don't
knowing
even
about it.
know about it.
Exactly. How much do we not know?
So My problem
That's where it
isn't-
gets scary.
My thing isn't with the whole, people getting shot. Of course, that's wrong. But it's just like
It happens
people
every
in
day.
their outrage. Like, how much do you care?
Yeah, do you only care when it's made a spectacle?
Like, if you really care. Like, I'm not gonna front and be like, I
all the
care.
way.
So what do you mean care? Like, should we actively go looking for situations like this? Should we go hunting down? I mean,
If
how
you
do
care, you should feel.
How do you care? What would be an example of a black person?
All right, good question. Outreach to the police and see if we're getting killed by the police, you talk to police. If we're getting killed by people in the neighborhoods, you talk to folks in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
You got to talk to people. You got to have committees and talks and stuff like that. And I honestly don't know how to fix it.
I was
Okay,
I was
exactly.
gonna
That was my
say,
next
what
question.
is
Like,
the
once
what's
we
the
have
answer?
these
I don't know if there's a
conversations-
solution. And that was
What is
one
the
of my
solution?
things that I was gonna say. Is like, I feel like we need to have ways. I mean, I don't think we should have to have ways like this, but I feel like we need to have ways in which black people can interact with more white people just for no reason, just like off sheer genuineness of like we're just being humans in a human space versus it being like anything other than that. Because I feel like, I mean, it doesn't justify what they do, but I think they really be scared. And I don't know why. I don't know what we are doing or what
That brings up.
we can't. But I feel like they genuinely are fearful or something.
Just
That-
from a jump.
So how can we change that narrative? I feel like is the bigger thing that we need to change is the narrative.
we
of what the
don't
black
have to.
man
We don't have to
is.
change that.
And see,
they
this-
need to.
But
And
how can we help them change that?
So
Which-
listen
I mean,
to
we
this.
can help them change it.
Listen
We
to
can
this.
make
My
them-
freshman year of college, I remember my English professor
Talk to
saying,
them. Yeah.
sharing this story. It was like an article we read where this black guy was basically saying he was going to this college campus during a time where that was like very weird, like very out of the norm. And he was a big, tall black guy, like So at that time, like super scary. Now like mildly scary.
Yeah.
So, he said that he could see people tensing up when they saw him. Natural reaction to just seeing a black guy. And he said what he started doing was whistling, like, classical tunes or like letting it be known basically that I'm cultured or that I'm not as scary as I come off or like whatever. I'm relatable. And like what I really admired about my English professor, because she was a white woman, she said it really sickens me that he felt like he even had to
whistle.
do that. But the fact that like, I'll do that to like, entertain or like, I don't know, like, but I feel like I'm with you. Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to conform or act a certain way? Or like, why can't that be me?
Exactly.
Why can't that be who I am? The way I was raised.
And even when I'm not me, you still scared. So what's the
for real? Me, I don't feel like I have to do that.
We don't. I don't feel like I have to, but I do find myself in a mini
like what you were saying
situation.
earlier, how you
like
like
our age, or like what are you saying?
Like, I was talking about, I don't know. I was talking about me personally.
Oh, okay.
Like when you talked about earlier, like being in the neighborhood, you felt like, what did you feel?
I just feel like I need to get out as soon as possible.
Like,
before somebody called the police for no reason. That's basically how I felt.
I don't even feel that.
Because you're not doing anything.
And I
wrong.
don't feel that nervous either, because it's the same, like you just said. I don't feel like I have
even if they
anything
do call the police, I don't feel like I'm gonna get shot.
But at the end of the day,
what if a nigga do?
He probably didn't feel like that either, though, and we don't know how like they be feeling in those situations where.
Maybe I don't feel like that.
Because I feel like I'm
California. If I was somewhere.
Well, I'm super calm too, and I feel like I'm always like super rational in situations where I probably would be turned up, or like where it's like, okay, but I realize that this is life or death, or this is crazy, so let me be calm, cool, and collected, But like I'm sure he didn't expect that to happen, and I feel like I don't want to find myself in a situation where I don't expect it to happen, and then
it just happens.
Because honestly,
you never know.
Honestly, like you said, we're in California, but I'm from Ohio, Akron, Ohio, where they literally have cops planted in different areas waiting for people to speed by or people who look suspicious.
To do something wrong.
And I just want to stress the point that it feels like with situations like Ahmaud, with Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, it's just like we I don't want to say we become desensitized, but I feel like because it happens so frequently, we know the outcome. We realize that like in these situations we don't come out on top. Like, these people get away with it sometimes. I feel like that's not mentally healthy for us as black people in America, to constantly see. So I guess that's where I struggle with it, and I guess that's what I'm saying, or I'm seeing with you guys when you say you don't want to tune into that. You don't want to see those videos. I understand that. We're not wrong for that. I feel like sometimes we feel guilty when we don't advocate or like, you know, use the most recent hashtag, because it's like we shouldn't be a hashtag in the first place. We shouldn't have to fight for basic human rights.
We shouldn't have to run for Ahmaud.
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't.
You know, I don't know. Those things, that's what really bothers me. And I feel like that's like, I feel like when they hear white privilege, they're thinking about things that it's just like, no, we really just want to walk outside and not feel like.
Yeah, I feel like more than race, like, I feel like what we're really trying to fight for since day one, once again, is inequality or equality. Like, it doesn't matter that I'm black or that you're white or that, etc. It's the fact that the way that we are treated is unequal to the way that y'all treat other people or other races or other in general. You know, the thing that we're fighting for is inequality in general. We shouldn't have to worry about basic human rights running through a neighborhood.
I guess, like,
Period.
just to put things into perspective, I feel like if it was a white person instead of Ahmaud, it was a white person who entered the construction site, I don't see two white men finding that suspicious. I don't see them automatically assuming he's robbing this place or he's casing this place to rob this place. I think those assumptions go out the window. I don't even think that's a thought in anyone's head. I also think if it was two black men who decided to, you know, to conduct a citizen's arrest, I think it would be a lot differently if the results ended with a white man being killed at the hands of two black men. I don't think the results would be the same. What was
the problem? It was a vacant house. What's the problem?
I think maybe let's put those things in perspective. Let's think of it as, like, you know, let's not think so much about color as if, although we have to. Like, I feel like sometimes I have to say, imagine if it was a white person.
Put yourself.
If Ahmaud was white, like, do you think the results would be the same? I want to ask you that.
It's not about race.
It's not about race, but
inequality. Things being unequal between parties.
But that's it's so common. It's like where do we draw the line? It's so common.
I want to take it a step further.
It's just another situation that we have to
deal with, and that's one deal with. That's sad. As well as I want to take it a step further, which is kind of on a tangent, but even the fact that, like, when I seen this this mermaid, I was like, wow, it's black. I didn't even realize that personally, like, foremost. But, like, I've been doing, like, little job assignments, you know, during COVID or whatever. And one of the questions is, you know, I have to audit the products or whatever. So they ask deodorant, shampoo, this, that, and the third. Do you see any natural or ethnic shampoos? Why is there even an option to take pictures of this natural or ethnic shampoo? Why isn't this just automatically included in the general public? Or why do I have to go all the way? I mean, not saying there's anything wrong, that's not what I'm saying, but why do I have to go all the way from North Hollywood to Crenshaw just to get some natural hair products, some Cantu or some Carol's Daughter or some, you know, natural hair products, when I should be able to get them in my own neighborhood that I live in, regardless if the demographic is white or not. I live here in America. I should be able to find my products at my local.
They should be accessible to me.
Period.
Whiteness is considered the norm,
and that's a problem because it's not at this point, especially. It's not normal anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Do you feel like? I feel like changes are definitely being made, but I am still surprised when I run into those situations where I'm like, wow, you guys really didn't consider anyone other than white people in this situation. Mm-hmm. When I was in Ohio not too long ago, maybe a year or so ago, shopping for makeup in a or not even a CVS, a Giant Eagle. So this is a grocery store, and they literally did not have any makeup for black women at all. Like, it was just like, is this allowed? Or like, I feel like this shouldn't even be legal, but it was, because I'm like, okay, thinking about this area that I'm in, Fairlawn. Mm-hmm. In Akron, Ohio, like, there's Fairlawn, and I just feel like that is not, black people aren't known to live in that neighborhood. Although it's hard to even call it a neighborhood. Yeah. It's more of like where all the businesses, all the entertainment, like that's where you go for those type of things. In Akron, But like they didn't have black makeup. It was not an option for me to shop there. Those are things that I feel like don't cross white people's minds. And it's like, you want me to be a part of this America. You say I live here. You know, when Colin Kaepernick kneels, is disrespectful to America. But it's just like, how am I supposed to feel a part of this? When like I know that
I gotta go 5 miles to find shampoo.
Or like my son can walk outside and be killed
for nothing.
And like the person who killed him won't be arrested until the media makes an outrage about it. Until that, like, and
even then, it might not even still be anything.
They'll still try to find. Go on my son's Twitter and find him saying something outlandish,
holding a gun or holding something.
Although he's a kid and just expressing it, just like those white kids, those pop stars, where y'all dig up those kids or those tweets where they're saying the N-word and you excuse it as them being young. Why isn't that?
Same way.
Treat us the same way. Are we not?
Inequality.
You know, that's all I'm saying. But, you know, we're going to wrap that up. We're going to move on. Rest in power, Ahmaud Arbery. Like, truly. I'm so sick of hashtags. I'm so sick of having to say it in that way. Like, I wish he was 25 years old. 25 years old. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff that doesn't sit right with me. And not that we'll forget about him, but it's just like, people will move on. And this man didn't get to live out his life. He didn't get to find or live out his purpose. Or like, you know, it's just like he was robbed of that. And for what? Because someone made an assumption about him.
It's so much deeper than his color.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, you know.
The biggest thing for me, like I said, is... Because I feel like we always say race and like we always bring up the fact that we're black and they're not, or like race is involved. But the biggest thing about it is truly inequality. Y'all are treating us unequally to what y'all expect to see from a Chinese man, from a black man, from a white man, from anything other than black, to be honest.
It's been happening.
I know, but that doesn't, you know, we need to... And I don't like to talk about it because personally, if I'm gonna talk about something, I'm gonna bring something to the forefront. I want to make an action about it.
Right. Like you,
and I'm all about action, so you know, holla at me. But I can't be on my own, or I can't feel like I can't be the only on a casual Friday. No, just a casual Friday. That's me. But you know, I can't, or we can't be the only ones by ourselves trying to call for action or trying to run. To me, I feel like a good thing to do is run in every neighborhood with white folk in it. Because then they'll wonder, why are black people running? And then they'll wonder, you know, and then, hey, if we get shot, I ain't gonna say that's what I'm hoping for, but it's like we need to make some type of ruckus to wake society up to the fact that they're treating us unequally. Period.
Because I feel like, me personally, like, I know that it does seem hopeless. Like, it seems like this will always be the reality for our people, unfortunately, because it's been that way for so long, like you said.
And I say, but fuck that.
Me too. I am so like, well, we got to change it somehow. So we got to do something. Like, like Jordy said, it takes more than just black people speaking up. Those people who are non-black, those people who are non-African American, it is so important for you to speak up, for you to be an ally, for you to say, this is not right. Because I can't be the only person who feels like him being killed is not justified by you suspecting that he was robbing a construction site.
And we just sound like another narrative when we're, as black people, saying, we just sound like, oh, black people complaining again. But when you, as a white ally, say something about it, it speaks more volume because you have no immediate connection to the fact that we're another race.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
It really is. I don't want to say more powerful, but it is powerful.
As sad as it is to say, but it is.
We really do. I mean, even when it came to slavery, we needed white abolitionists to step up.
To see that it was wrong.
To say that this is wrong. You guys tried to dehumanize these people. They are human beings.
It's not a black problem. It's a human rights problem.
And that's how we need to look at it. That's exactly how we need to look at it. But, you know, moving along, because I don't want to focus on negativity. And it's like, this is a person's life. So I never want to say negativity. Like, that feels so wrong to like associate his life and the way he died as negative. It's really like, no, we do need to talk about these things. But I do want to move forward.
Can comment below what you think we should do about this situation.
Yeah, like I really like. How do you suggest we handle this? How do we bring about change
The
right way?
We've been talking about the change. We've already been talking about situations and how we can make a change of people getting shot. Our people getting shot.
Yeah.
You know, it's already been a conversation.
Right.
So what do we do next? Yeah.
It's not.
So what is the
shit.
action?
Yeah.
It's
What's
not
the
I
action?
agree.
nothing.
We have talked about it. I feel like we know the problems. That's not the issue. We've identified the problems. What do we do about it? As a black community, what do we do about it? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Create our own resources.
But speaking of like going into another topic, snitching in the black community.
Okay.
Snitching in the black community. We know how that is regarded where we're from. Now, I won't say that I personally identify with that type of life. I'm not a street person. I haven't lived that life. That is not me. However, 6ix9ine. It's crazy to even have this conversation because, like, I'd say a year ago I was just learning who he was. And it was controversy. It was controversy, like, throughout. Like, I never heard anything about his rapping ability or, like, his impact other than controversy. Trolling. You know? We're in the age of trolling. Mm-hmm. He really monetized off of that, but, like, really, I guess, at the hand of black people. Like, I feel like gang culture. And it is very much a Hispanic thing, too, which he is. If you're not familiar with 6ix9ine, he is a 24-year-old Hispanic male rapper who had a very successful career, who has a very successful career, which I guess is what I want to talk about. It's astonishing to me because I feel like when I was growing up, snitching was like the worst thing you could do as a street person.
Get stitches.
Bottom line, if you are a part of that gang street culture, number one thing you do not do is snitch. And he snitched, and therefore he is not really a part of that kind of culture. He is just perpetrating as if he's a part of that culture.
Gang appropriation.
But it really exposes who he really is, in a way, like.
Oh, not in a way. It does.
I feel like he makes. For me, when I watch his live, he makes a lot of valid points on why he justifies why he snitched. But I just like Cardi B said, because I watched something she said about the situation too.
Elaborate on what Cardi B said, because I didn't see that. So
Cardi B basically was just like, she doesn't find anything wrong with snitching if you are a regular civilian living your life, just being a normal citizen to the USA, living correctly and righteously. But if you commit yourself to being gang affiliated, then it is your obligation as being gang affiliated not to snitch, period. Because you have admitted you're committed to yourself to this lifestyle. And if you're going to commit yourself to that lifestyle, then you shouldn't snitch. And if you're not, then you just don't need to be part of that lifestyle. And I can agree with that 100%. It's like, I'd snitch shit because I'm not a part of that lifestyle. But if I was a gang member, I wouldn't, because I know what being a gang member what that comes with. So
he's literally not a gang member.
Apparently he was though, but
they say he was.
And that's money. Like, I don't know if he bought his way.
Who said that?
Money. I think it's all a gimmick. I think Teriyaki 6ix9ine is a gimmick. He's been a gimmick since he came out. I think he's a gimmick now.
He's the Joker. The Joker.
I know that his cases and stuff is this, that, and the third, but I think money can buy anything. And I feel like at this point, Teriyaki 6ix9ine got all the money in the world to buy anything that he can to prove that he is or isn't what he says he is or is. Therefore,
my thing is,
I don't believe none of the things that he's doing at this point.
I think we all knew that he was up to something. He wasn't like a true hip-hop artist, rapper. We all knew that it was something underneath that.
Yeah.
I do like baby songs.
There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like, honestly, like I said, right before all of this happened, before he went to jail, I was just getting hip to him. I had heard about the controversy, but I was just tuning into the music.
Yeah.
So I feel like with that, it's just like, okay, I'm introduced to the kid's music, then he goes to jail. I feel like I was vibing with the music. I'm like, oh shoot, okay, this shit is hard. Like, I can't deny that it's entertaining. It makes me want to, you know, it got
an appeal. It's definitely an appeal.
It's got that energy to it. But now, like, when I hear his new song, I don't know that the same thing is, he got the same recipe. I think it's just hype. I think it's just clout. It's not substance. That song don't go. That ain't the song I want.
Mad, stupid, dumb, is you mad?
Like, it's just like, how long can you get away? Like,
be a clown.
Before you
how
need
long
real
can you
substance.
be a clown?
Is the real question.
Question mark.
Oh, hell no.
How long can you...
But for real, how long can you be a clown? How long is being a clown profitable? Until people are just like, alright, bro.
Alright, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think it's working so far. I don't care what nobody say, bro. I think that shit is a gimmick. Like,
100%.
money can buy anything
100%.
outside of the things money can't buy. But, but outside of that, money can buy anything. And I feel like at this point, to me, it just don't add up. Ain't no way in hell a street nigga or even a non-street nigga about to sit here and infiltrate some street shit, do something out of whole pocket, and then just talk about it like, yeah, I mean, I snitched, but dead ass saying I snitched, but like, it don't add up to me.
Witness protection, though, I feel like they.
Bro, that's true. Like,
witness protection and you're a celebrity does not make sense.
I mean, obviously, we're seeing that play out with the fan, the quote unquote fan that's ratting him out.
There's no
on Instagram or whatever it was that she showed him.
Your hair's still a rainbow. Like, come on now, bro. It don't add up. It don't add up. Did you see the video about the white girl leaking his address?
Yeah.
And I feel like even with that, like, I don't know. I just don't believe it. It don't add up. Just like coronavirus.
It don't.
Periana. No. Periana. I honestly, I don't know what to say to that because while that's a real narrative, because it's just like, I mean, I don't know. People have been following this case. They know the paperwork. We've heard, I want to say audio.
Can I say something real quick? Somebody, one of my friends, I ain't gonna say their name, but
Illuminati.
Literally, he posted on his Instagram story, he had 2 million likes and only 200,000 views on that Gooba video. But how you got 2 million likes but only 200 views?
Bots. Weird thing.
That's all I'm gonna say.
So do you think that it's like fake bots, or do you think that it's like people just like, I'm liking it, I don't even care, I don't need to watch it, because it's Tekashi,
I think it's money. That's what I think. I think it's money. Money can buy a lot more than what we think. These are facts.
I just feel like people nowadays are so hip to that type of stuff now. I feel like would they let it slide like that? But it is possible because sometimes like, it'd be a lot of bot comments under celebrities. I'm like, there's no way these people are saying the same exact. That's weird. It just be like, this is not real. Fire emojis are like certain stuff. It'd be like,
look
man,
at my profile. I'm a rapper.
Look at my. Bet you won't look at my bio.
Do you think I'm hot?
Dude,
oh my god.
Oh, I don't think I'm cute. Like, I'm like, is this for real? I don't know.
No, I know what you mean though, but I think we.
How much? I mean, because you're probably not.
Are you high right now? Is anyone high?
Are you drunk right now? I'm just saying you could do. Okay.
Great song.
Anyway, man.
But yeah, I think the bigger picture here though is the people that it affects, and the fact of the matter is it affects the black community. He put black people in jail with snitching. I'm sorry, whether you're a part of that or if you're about that life or not, you pretended to be. You put on this facade that you were gang affiliated. You know what I mean? And you did all of that. You were talking big shit. Big shit, and it's just like, and then at the end of the day, now you're just like, well, yeah, I snitched, but you would too, and it's just like, yeah, but I wasn't claiming to be gang affiliated. I'm a civilian. I'm a person who literally has a few, not that you don't, but like, I I can't have rainbow hair.
I'm not gang affiliated.
I can't have
period.
6ix9ine tatted on my face and have a career.
I just thought of something.
What's up?
Facts. But 6ix9ine, I understand he's a kid, and I really don't even want to call him a kid because he's 24. But I understand, like, when you're that young and you're in that position, like, it's just like, what would you do? You know, what would you do? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
Milk it.
I would milk it. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like growing up in this generation where it's just like clout it's huge. Mm-hmm. Literally, people will book you based on what type of following you will bring. How many followers you have.
Your image.
How much engagement can we get from you? And I'm sorry, he's thriving in that. Yeah. Like, as of right now, I'm curious to see how this plays out. I'm curious to see how he continues to maintain this type of engagement when he does have something like Rat attached to his name. We'll see. But yeah, I do want to close this up. Y'all don't realize it's like 3 o'clock in the morning here at this point. They've been hanging in there with me. I really appreciate it. But I want to ask you guys, name one thing that you feel like the audience should know more about. Like, what's one thing you feel like people in general should just
Can I go
know
first?
more
Oh my
about?
God, please. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I wanted Daiisy to go first, but
about 6ix9ine or just
just like something like I mean, a show or maybe an app or like just something you feel like people just a book. It can be anything.
Simply said, just be more open about life experiences. Just be more open.
Okay. More open about life experiences. I appreciate that. I feel like, you know, turning 27, I'm at a point in my life where I'm seeing things in a way that I wouldn't at 21. So I feel like it does take life experience to
take you there.
To take you there or to appreciate things or to see things a certain type of way. Mm-hmm. I would say, like, a lot of things that I look at is like bad. I'm very grateful for it. I wouldn't have the mindset that I do now if it weren't for some of those things. Like, I don't think I'd approach situations the way that I do if I didn't experience certain things. So I feel like that's real.
100%.
Yeah. Anything you want, like any show or book or anything you want to shout out? Anything you feel like during the quarantine people should be checking out?
Well, personally, I've been reading Michelle Obama's Becoming book. I think it's a really good book. Now she has like a series on Netflix about becoming. It's basically everything she talks about in the book. So that's something good to read and watch on Netflix.
Okay, I definitely will check that out because, you know, she's my forever first lady. But, you know, Jordy, what do you got for us?
I want to give a big shout out to a casual variety show. Tune into a casual variety show every Friday. We put out some new content for you. If you type in ACVS, youtube.com/ACVS or a casual variety show on YouTube, it'll pop up. Just check out, you know, what we got for you this week and see what's up.
Hey. I'm definitely feeling that. I feel like I've been checking out a lot of music as of late. I feel like by now y'all should all know who Don Toliver is, but if you don't, he is a Texas artist who is signed to, I believe, Cactus Jack's label, which is Travis Scott, who, if you know me, you should know Travis Scott is one of my favorite artists. Don Toliver is an artist coming up underneath him, and like, this dude's music is awesome. He dropped a project back in, I want to say like the end of last year. He just dropped a new project, Heaven or Hell. Super dope. I like his sound. I'm a big fan of Texas music in general, and I feel like he really embodies that sound. He's up next, so I feel like y'all should check him out. Catch him before you know he's the new wave.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Dauré?
Well, you know, I'm in TV shows. I might have mentioned already, Solar Opposites, very funny, on Hulu. And Extracurricular, a very interesting Korean drama about the escort world, if you will. So it's very interesting.
That's always intriguing.
It's very interesting.
It's real.
And also, you know, I wish people would just be more interested in learning and history. For some reason, I love history because it's so many things you could use in history for like writing,
daily basis,
just writing and just
everyday life.
A lot of people don't know about things that happen in history. You can just use.
It's really so important. History definitely repeats itself.
Plagues.
Right. Yeah, plagues for sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
No, I agree with that.
Right now.
But most importantly, I just want to say, everybody, please stay safe, stay prayed up, and thank you so much for tuning in to the 3rd episode of TaeTalkTV. Please like, comment, please. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your opinions. What did you think of today's topics? Comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and most importantly, with love, stay true to yourself, follow your dreams, and Tae Talk, I'm out.
Happy birthday to you.
Aww.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear girl.
Hey, only real ones.
Happy birthday to you.
They said what, Gata?
Gata Tae, that's
Gata Tae in the building. Okay.
Hey, Gata Tae from the Bay, but I live in LA.
Ooh.
Look, y'all don't want to turn this into a cipher. No. Y'all ain't ready for that. But alright, y'all. Y'all stay safe out there with love.